The day is February 3rd, 2019, and I wake up in a bout of emotions ranging from excited and stressed to relieved but anxious to leave school for a 5-day trip to Washington, D.C. But I was also running late, as per usual. I arrived to the police headquarters where I'd meet the group of kids I would be conferencing with at CADCA, the anti-substance abuse conference we were attending. Of course, my poor little shy self felt that arriving semi-late with the video camera would be a bit weird, so I kept the lens to myself. As I felt the wheels of the plane land on the cold tarmac at Reagan International, I wondered, what am I doing here? How did I find myself here, in a state on the other side of the country, surrounded by upperclassmen whom I know nothing about, being escorted by officers, and above all, staying up on a school night? Nothing seemed to make sense, so I remembered that if this is going to be told as a story, then to properly set up my narrative, I need to establish a who, what, where, when, and why. So my who? This question is a bit more complicated than where, which would be Washington, D.C. post-polar vortex, or when the Super Bowl was playing while we were flying, or the time that we all celebrated Chinese New Year away from family for the first time. The reason why the who is so important to a storyline is because that they are the ones interacting with the main character and directly affecting the lessons taught. They were my teachers.
Want to say hi?
Here's Taylor, Farnaz, and Armina at the airport.
This is Farnaz from the past.
My beautiful roommate, Maddie.
Are you recording me sleeping?
Brian, Carson, and Ethan, who are watching the Super Bowl in the Gaylord Hotel lobby. And Jake, Cameron, and Nate, deciding who wants what kind of pizza.
Me lovers pizza, baby.
And to watch us all, the chaperones. They're all fantastic, well-rounded, and intelligent people whose stories range from stomach-achingly funny to tragically unfortunate. Yet, here we all are. Here I find myself thinking about some lessons I learned doing theater. While sitting and watching the changing of the guard at Arlington Cemetery, I realized a couple parallels between us and the symbol before me. We are from different places with different backgrounds holding different values, much like the rest of the world, and yet we all found something in common that we would all fight for in equal efforts. We work to put on something together that is bigger than any single one of us. Although everyone is replaceable, we all bring something to the table. The coolest part is when you meet people like this. You meet them not knowing a single thing about them. You aren't swayed by their social status or even life choices, since all of what you see is all that is in front of you. And that's all you have. It's a blank slate opportunity that I don't have as a high school student, being surrounded by the same people who have a predetermined bias towards me. I'm so excited to bring back their stories and tips to teach middle schoolers about the dangers that come ahead. And I know that spending time with them has made me a better person. So back to my who's, what's, where's, when's, and why's. I want to bring back into focus the why. Why did I find myself in Washington, D.C., attending an international conference with upperclassmen not of my school, talking with experts about the vape crisis or marijuana usage in the U.S., or getting a chance to be in the room where it happens, even learning more about how others are taking on drug education and legislation, or standing in front of the White House with pens driving past me, or the science of meth and coke use, experiencing the changing of the guard, spending Chinese New Year with my fellow Asians, and spending it all with my new friends.
Okay, Fat Joy. I say it differently.
In the conference itself, I learned how big this cause is, and how many people were involved in it. I learned that Ohio has a huge opioid crisis from speaking to students my age who live there along with countless many other states like Connecticut, Texas, Kansas, and the Carolinas, whose epidemics I had no clue about since they were so far inland. Why? I was here to figure out why I do what I do, why I teach middle schoolers about substance abuse, and why I should continue. After this trip, it is clear to me now more than ever that I do this because, although I don't have an outrageous personal loss or that I want community service hours, but I do this because I like teaching, and I love making a difference. I've seen how kids react to adults telling them what to avoid and the science behind it, and I believe that how this program works fixes that. Driving down from Mount Vernon, I see a road lined with brick houses. They reminded me of my old one down in Georgia. There, in that bus surrounded by my exhausted friends, I had found myself another home in DC. I was there to make friends and connections and new memories. I was there to learn, listen, and look forward. I was there because I simply just believed that how many more people have to experience a life-changing loss before they start caring about the problem at hand? That was the reason why I found myself in Washington, D.C.
That is Senator Board of Directors, wisdom restore upon her.
Funding the drug-free community program has seen long-standing bipartisan support.
Get a center!
Is that the Oh my goodness!
So go.
That was bad. I gave up.
Yep. That's cute. I love that.
Where'd you put the song from? What is going on? So she's so good lady. You guys chose?
No.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah.